about, totally pure scientific perspective. Don't even say religion or God, and he himself was born in a Muslim family. But he got initiated by Babaji, and he has a lot of knowledge and all that. And I listened to his first lecture, and the second one, I'll share that one, whoever is interested. That course is going on, or maybe it is finished, I'm not sure. But in universities now they are picking up this, because they're realizing the value in it. It's nothing to do with religion as such. This is spiritual. This is, the world of spirit, you can call it, or something which is there. And his approach was very, very scientific for those students. He has to keep it that way. Excellent the way he presented the whole thing.
Thus, the mantra explains to the deluded man that he who can seek constantly and ultimately succeed in establishing his identity with his state of perfection, to him there is no more a world of finite sense impulses to wreak his perfect joys by bringing storming sorrows and tumultuous despairs into his bosom.
So, these are the things that we get afflicted by, and he's just saying that how he will go beyond all this.
Nichya.
Nichaya, actually.
Nichya.
It's a very different word that we have not heard. Nichaya, actually. Nichaya, और इसका meaning दिया हुआ है, having known, means not knowing through the senses, but realizing it. That's what that word means. Nichaya.
This does not mean to know truth in the sense we know a table or a chair. When the mantra has, in its very first line, negated the sense organs any play in word of truth, it has negated, in effect, the play of the mind and the intellect also. Here the term having known only means experience subjectively. Intuitive experience alone is the mode of knowing the truth absolute.
So we discussed that not knowing means not, just by five senses, but, just not to deny the role of the five senses for our purposes we are discussing. Intellectually, we have to grasp it also. But the final journey is to transcend it. And that's why, the whole journey of karma yoga and all that is for that purpose only. So have the purity of the mind so that I can understand this. That's the whole idea. And that's why if you start doing too early with the impure mind, then you will hang on to the wrong ideas. That's why it's so important to have continuous practice for purity of mind so that we realize the Brahman.
जी जो कर्म योग है, doesn't it also train you to control your desires?
Oh, 100%, because the first thing of the karma yoga is that you cannot be selfish.
Yeah.
और desire हमेशा selfish ही होती है. And then it will take you a little beyond the desire also. But to go beyond desires, you have to start with unselfish desire first.
Right.
That's exactly. And then we will, maybe next week in that, we will do the 5 points, because some of people have joined later on, about 5 points of karma yoga. Constantly practicing those. And, they are all like very good pointers what real karma yoga is. Then we can check against that. Hey, whatever I'm doing, am I doing in that spirit? And whenever they say dedicated work, it is dedicating to a higher altar. Not just for me and mine, but hey, some higher altar. And we already do that as human beings, but he's taking it to the higher and higher altar. Because like we discussed, the family में भी हम लोग का सब हमेशा अपने मन का तो नहीं कर सकते हैं. बहुत ही कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होएगा फैमिली में. एक ही जन बैठ जाए, I want it like that only. We sacrifice there, among friends and among community and, and all that. So you keep going higher and higher. So true. It just helps us to go beyond our desires. There is one sentence in my book, and I know it's already time, so I'll just read that. It is verse 14 and 15. And Swamiji said, the spiritual path of meditation taking us from the perceptions of plurality to the vision of unity is described as sharp and thin as a razor's edge. So he's saying that it is the perception of plurality to the vision of unity. That's the journey. But it leads all determined and sincere seekers beyond death to the state of immortality. And that's why when they say ki immortality, that's what it means. And then I was just thinking about it, like in our Puranas, whenever they see these asuras meditating, खूब meditation करेंगे वो लोग, and then जब भगवान को प्रसन्न कर लेंगे तो क्या मांगते थे वो लोग? ओ माय शरीर मेरा इमोर्टल हो जाए बस, मैं मरूं नहीं, सभी का. So that is like a asura. Asura is like a lower buddhi. Hey, if you ask for that other immortality, that's what is more important. You know. And the funny thing was, मांग लेते थे पर उनको कभी मिलता नहीं था वो, because कोई ना कोई उपाय ढूंढ लिया जाता था उनको फिजिकली खत्म करने का. So it's a very precious thing, obviously, this immortality. So that's why it cannot be that easy, right? So we have to just constantly practice purity of mind. Any question?
लेकिन रोमा जी बात ये है कि once you practice that and you start to enjoy certain things, the way your mind works, the way your intellect works, then it becomes so enjoyable that you want to dwell more and more and more into it.
I think you got the taste of it. That's exactly what it is. And then it does not become Shurasthara.
Right.
In the beginning, it is hard work. And it's like, that's what our teacher used to call that it is a tapas. When they say कि tapas means, मेरे को पता है कि ये चीज़ गलत है, लेकिन मेरा बहुत मन हो रहा है वो करने का, लेकिन मैं नहीं कर रही हूँ. So it creates like heat in our body, literally, But if जैसे बोलते हैं ना, काम और क्रोध के वेग को सह लो, so वो तपस बन जाता है फिर वो. And once you see the result, what is going to happen, that's what it makes you addicted to it. I want to do it more, because that's exactly right, But in the beginning, it's hard. It gets easier as you keep going.
Yes.
Any other comment or question about this topic? Okay, then I'll close the class.
I have a comment to make.
Yeah, sure, Kamalaji.
Like we were discussing that, it takes 18 times to understand Geeta. If you read 18 times, then you can understand it. But according to my thinking, you cannot even get it after 18 times if you are not practicing it.
So Kamalaji, when they said 18 times, it was just, it's not written in box at all. In fact.
No. I'm just,
so just want to have a disclaimer that they're saying कि 18, because 18 chapters है ना, तो उन्होंने, और 18 का बड़ा महत्व है, like in महाभारत, 18 दिनों तक war चला था, blah, 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 तो ऐसे they picked up 18. The whole, you are absolutely right. But what they're trying to say is that if you don't repeatedly read it, then you won't even know what to practice. See what I'm saying? That's why you need to, because our practices may be wrong. I may be thinking I'm practicing, but if I don't have the purity of my mind, I may be practicing wrong stuff.
Both go hand in hand.
Yes.
But only reading, you keep reading, you learning, you understand so many terms and do this, but unless you practice them in your day-to-day life, once you start practicing, then the next reading will make more sense. And once you practice more, then the next reading will make more sense. So the doors keep opening, but the practice is very important. Then you can get the deeper meaning of what they are saying.
See, whenever they talk about karma yoga, as I told you that we will discuss that again for like 5 points, we have not even crossed that yet. So सबसे पहले वो हमें पांचों कर रही हूँ या नहीं, तो we have practice तो होना ही होना है, because कर्म योगा में तो अगर वो हम लोग नहीं करेंगे तो, and the श्रुति तो easily says that, hey, श्रवणम मननम निधिध्यासन, unless you go through that. So it's like you have to listen, you have to contemplate, you have to make it your own, that knowledge. Then only it becomes spontaneous. And that's why they say the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom is something that has become one with you. It's like the food that we eat get assimilated in me and become part of me. So all whatever you're saying is absolutely true. And when they said the number 18, all they are telling you, in my mind, for the rest of our life, we have to continue studying. So ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने तो पढ़ ली गीता करके बंद करके बैठ गए. That's all.
Yeah, I understand that. Any scriptures, more you read, more you know. Every time you read, you will get the deeper meaning of it.
Yes.
But it becomes easier when you start practicing whatever you read. And the second point which I want to reiterate here, it's just not like I'm trying to contradict or anything. I'm just trying to make the things clear to my own mind. And I'm trying to speak loud for the benefit of everybody else. So the other thing is that this 4 path of mukti, Karam Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Dhyan Yoga, if we can do simultaneously, we can achieve better results. This is like, you don't say, okay, I have to just work on Karam Yoga first. Let me master that one first. Then I'll do Gyan Yoga, and then I'll do Dhyan Yoga, and then I'll do Bhakti Yoga. Then I think it will take many, many incarnations to reach there. So if we can do everything every day, do your Karam with maximum knowledge you have, find some time to read the scriptures, do your bhakti, sing those whatever you believe in, and then lift your energy, put your dhyan there. So when you
see what you are saying is the thing is, what you are saying is it's an overall understanding, but Krishna Bhagavan very clearly says that if you have not mastered karma yoga, you won't be able to go to the next step. But to master karma yoga, all those things come automatically anyway. So we have to understand what he's saying, and it is not a contradiction, Kamlaji. So, but it is a known fact that if you sit and Naresh ji is not here, right? Just now he left. He said no. When I sit, 1,000 thoughts come in my mind. When I sit, right? He talked about that. So what our teacher used to explain by doing, when 1,000 thoughts are coming in my mind, karma yoga is a remedy to purify. So pressure of vasana becomes less. Okay. So it may not be right for somebody or not. So we cannot have this general thing that everybody should do everything together. And that's why when, somebody approaches a teacher, he will give different remedies, Kamlaji, to that person. One of them will say, go जाके मंदिर साफ करो 1 महीना तक. उसको वो नहीं बोलेगा तुम मंदिर भी साफ करो, ध्यान भी करो, और ये भी करो, भक्ति भी करो. You go and do that. अदर को बोलेगा कि 2 घंटा मंदिर साफ करो, 2 घंटा बैठो. तीसरे को बोलेगा कि तुम ये करो. So we cannot have सभी को सभी कुछ करना चाहिए. So that's how you have to look at it, that where am I on this thing? And all these 4 paths that you talked about, they're all linked together. They are not in a box. So if somebody is capable of doing all 4 with a nice result, by all means, but there could be people who are not ready for it. So we have to, that's why we need to read Bhagavad Gita again and again, because Arjun wanted to go and meditate. It sounds so noble. And he said, no, you're not ready for it. You go and do the karma yoga first. You got to reduce your pressure of asana first. So just think about this, what I said. Okay? Because as I told you, that I want to bring it to the boundary of Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishad. Okay? Because sometimes what happens is if we misinterpret it, we can do more harm to us. So we have to go back to the basics in here. And that's why exactly what you said, that, hey, read it, practice it, and then you will see the result. Okay? So what I want to do is, we still have half an hour, 15 minutes. So at least I want to close this class over here. And then 15 minutes, if you still have question, we can, or you want to say something, we can go to that. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. Okay. Anybody still has a comment of what we discussed or any related topic, spiritual topic?
I think what we can summarize is that if we can understand that I'm not the body and mind and all that, that's when it's that you are eternal. That makes it much easier to understand that. It's only when the body dies, you say you die, but they're saying, no, you don't. You are really not dying. It's just the body has died. So keeping that in mind, I think all this what we read today makes much more sense to me. It's easy to understand, not make sense, but it's easier to understand that.
Yeah, and you are absolutely right, Sushilji. And if you see that just to understand I am not the body, it takes a lot of Shravanam and Mananam. Right?
Yeah.
And then the second stage is, okay, I may understand it intellectually, but I'm not established in that yet. And that's where all the other sadhanas come in. And that's exactly what we are trying to learn. You're absolutely right. Or agar ek baar wo establish ho gaya, it becomes better and better, let's put it this way.
Well, that's what I think when Anilji was saying that more you think about it, to me it is even for 5 seconds or 5 minutes, you are in trouble and you think about that hey, I'm not the body. It helps you to some extent.
A lot. I would say it helps a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, that to understand that when you say try it, I'm saying this is one way of trying. We haven't reached that stage, but even for a minute when you're in trouble and you think that way, I think it makes you feel a little better.
Yes, I 100% agree, yes. Mm-hmm.
To your point, Sushilji, Sadhguru was saying that when you are meditating, and meditation has so many different forms, but this is one form. He's saying, with the one breath in, you say, I'm not the body, and the breath out, you say, I'm not the mind, and you keep saying that for 5 minutes, and you would see how detached you feel from your body. Mm-hmm. That the fear of giving up this body start to disappear, that, I'm not the body. So if it is going, let it go. Who cares?
Exactly. Yeah.
The only thing I'm saying is that is even for short-lived time, it helps. Because we're going to be where Sadhguru would say, that we understand it all the way. I'm saying even for a little while to say, okay, this is what the gist is. It helps.
I think what Anilji is saying is that Sadhguru's thing is, hey, remind yourself every day. है ना?
Yeah.
That's what it is. कि और तभी वो अपना इंडिया में बोलते हैं ना कि सुबह सुबह सब पूजा वूजा करो, बिकॉज तभी तुम्हारा पूरा दिन अच्छा होगा. उसका रीज़न है कि भाई अभी मेरे एस्टैब्लिश नहीं हुई हूँ, लेकिन रोज मैं अपने आप को रिमाइंड करूँ. और वो 3 बार संध्या बोलते हैं उसको, राइट? कि भाई दिन सुबह, दोपहर में और शाम को, फिर थोड़ा बढ़ाओ उसको. Idea is to remember all the time. And that's why they Chinmayanand ji was saying that उन्होंने रूल बना दिया कि भाई, ब्रह्मार्पणम ब्रह्म हविः, say it before खाना. अरे और कुछ नहीं करोगे, खाना तो पड़ेगा ही तुमको जिंदा रहने के लिए. तो तभी ये श्लोक बोलो, understand what they are saying. Because that is, it's telling you that the Brahman is everything. You are not the body, Brahman is everything. So many techniques are given. And somebody was saying that ये जो इस्लाम में 5 बार नमाज करते हैं, उसका भी एग्जैक्टली वही मतलब है कि वे 5 बार भगवान से जुड़ो. 5 बार जुड़ गए तो चांसेस है कि बाकी टाइम पे भी जुड़े रहोगे. so कोई भी
This is
चीज, हाँ,
what I was trying to say in my previous comment, that when you do your you start your day with your bhakti, then naturally your karma yoga will be better. Your thoughts will purify, and every action you do will be better. So if you can do all these together every day, practice them, then karma yoga will be better slowly and slowly. And your bhakti yoga and jnana yoga, everything will help you to reach to that level.
See, when you say karma yoga, it is like, I think it was the Ramdev Baba who gave such a great definition. He's saying, तुम कोई भी काम करते हो, ज्ञान से किया हुआ मार्ग कर्म योग बन जाता है, right? So तुम क्यों कर रहे हो, किस लिए कर रहे हो, and so all of that, that's why they are all related. But
Yeah.
the path that Krishna Bhagwan is given, it's not that easy to swallow it, Kamla ji. When he says, because हम अपने egoism में हमेशा सोचते हैं we are ahead of where we are. So he's just reminding you that, no, I'm just saying how Krishna Bhagwan is approaching this, that it depends on where you are, and if you are sitting in meditation or bhakti को इतना आसान नहीं है. Bhakti came at 12th chapter, bhakti came. उसकी भक्ति तब जागी अर्जुन की जब उसको विश्व रूप दर्शन हुआ, तब उसकी ट्रू भक्ति जागी, और उसने जो प्रेयर बोली है ना, उसमें मतलब रोंगटे खड़े हो जाएंगे द वे ही, बिकॉज वो अंदर से निकली उसकी प्रेयर. वैसे हम लोग भजन गा लेंगे, वो कर लेंगे, भक्ति आई एम भक्त. वी कैन नॉट बी ट्रू भक्त until I understand who God is. So that's why this whole sequence is there in Bhagavad Gita, that hey, first you understand all about this world, who you are and all your identity. Then you meditate upon that self. Who is that self? Next 6th chapter will tell you. And then the bhakti will rise in you. So उसमें भी एक sequence बताया गया है. A true bhakti I'm talking about. A true bhakti cannot come until we completely comprehend what God is. So there are the sequence बताया, उसमें बहुत science है, Kamla ji. They have not just said it just like that. And it seeps in very, very slowly into us. Because our teacher used to say that, he's saying that हम लोग की pressure of वासना इतनी strong है, उसको काटने के लिए हमको selfless work करना पड़ेगा. इसे अगर मैं तुमको बोलूं आज कोने में जाके बैठ जाओ 2 घंटा, तुम लोग छटपटाओगे, नहीं बैठ पाओगे. पर किसी का माइंड प्योर हो ना, उसको बोलो जाके बैठ जाए, वो पूरा दिन भी बैठ जाएगा वहां पे. बिकॉज उसके तुम लोग लगा हाँ मैं ये करूं वो करूं, यू विल गेट सो अनकंफर्टेबल, बिकॉज अवर प्रेशर ऑफ वासना इज टू मच इन अस. उसको काटने के लिए वी हैव टू डू सेल्फलेस वर्क. बिकॉज हम लोग भी बहुत आर्ग्यू करते थे वो टाइम पे, बट देन स्लोली वी अंडरस्टूड व्हाट कृष्ण भगवान इज सेइंग.
वही जो आप कह रहे हैं ना कि हम आर्ग्यू करते थे, that was a very good character. Because that's how we learn.
Yes. So that's why
we wouldn't have learned anything.
Yes, true. So that's why it is telling you ना कि प्रश्न पूछना is totally fine. कृष्ण भगवान कहाँ उसे irritate थोड़ी हुए, को उन्होंने उसको पूरा ज्ञान तो दे दिया chapter 2 में, but उसको खुद भी समझाया. और कई बार कृष्ण भगवान ने उसके प्रश्नों को मतलब उसने फिजिकली नहीं बोला ये, लेकिन समझ गए कि भाई इसके मन में है ये प्रश्न, तो उन्होंने खुद ही बोलना शुरू कर दिया. बहुत उसको प्रेम से समझाया उन्होंने. सो प्रश्न बोलना और प्रश्न पूछने का भी एक तरीका होता है, राइट? लाइक दैट इट्स नॉट कैवल एट मी. ही हैज यूज दिस कि न सूयते मीन्स, बिकॉज एक होता है कि प्रश्न पूछना किसी को नीचा दिखाने के लिए,
चैलेंज कर,
हाँ, कि भाई मैं आई डोंट बिलीव यू व्हाट यू आर सेइंग एनीवे, कीप पुशिंग योर ओन थिंग. नो एक्चुअली, और उसका भी कितना चेंज हुआ अर्जुन में. पहले तो उसने खूब आर्ग्यू किया, फिर वो मेलो डाउन हुआ, फिर जब वो प्रश्न पूछता है ना, लाइक आफ्टर विश्वरूप दर्शन, इतना हम्बल होके, इफ यू थिंक आई एम वर्दी ऑफ दिस प्लीज टेल मी दिस, लाइक इट्स लाइक. और पहले वो बोलता था कृष्ण भगवान, व्हाई डिड यू से दैट, आई एक्सप्लेन इट टू मी. सो उसका प्रश्न भी जैसे जैसे उसने समझा कि what God is, and then he realized that Krishna Bhagwan is in one with that Brahman. फिर उससे इतनी भक्ति और श्रद्धा जागी उसमें, तो उसका प्रश्न पूछने का भी चेंज हो गया. You know, so प्रश्न पूछना is good, but art of asking also you learn from Bhagavad Gita, and art of answering also. So कई बार, you know, जब like we were talking about it, जब chapter 6 में उसने पूछा कि भाई my mind is like a hurricane, you're telling me to sit and meditate, you know, I can't control it, and you're telling me control my mind. How do I do that? So then Krishna Bhagavan ne say, नहीं, what you're saying is not true. He said, Parth, you're right. Mind is, तो हम यहाँ मिलाया उसके. Then he said, but I will tell you the remedy. You know? And karma yoga se, like how, you know, the Swamis explain, that's when the vairagya comes. You know, vairagya is nothing but, hey, you know, when I'm established in my duty and I'm doing it for Bhagwan, उसमें likes and dislikes नहीं आएगा ना. हमको वैरागी बनना ही पड़ेगा. We don't do, duties are not come कि भाई, they said there are things that come unasked. Go and do this, that's it. You know, like when a new mother, you know, the duties that come towards the child come unasked. She didn't say कि only I want a sweet child, always smiling, you know. You got to change the diaper also. You got to stay awake at night and all that. उसको वैराग्य से करना पड़ेगा उसको, if she wants to be in that samatvam. You know, don't get attached to things and just do it because it has to be done. Anybody else? Dr. Prabhakar?
Yeah, I just was contemplating. Just you mentioned don't get attached. I think that is the most difficult part of this. It is sadhana which makes that attachment to be translated into a detachment.
So true. And it is like, don't come under its sway. I like that word a lot better, because if we are in the body, very prone to attachment, we get attached very quickly. But to me, like having this knowledge and constantly being in satsang loosens it.
Yeah.
Loosens the attachment, because it's like, and then you, this solace that, hey, if something is gone, even the scientifically speaking, nothing is destroyed. Some form has changed, and you know, that's all. So why are you getting so disturbed? And I think for children, there is a very, very beautiful, his name is Khalil Gibran. Anybody heard of him? And he has a whole poem on who children are, you know, in relation to you. And the most famous sentence is, the children come through you, they don't belong to you. So they just come through, and you just read it is so much wisdom that we will be such better. I wish I had studied that when I was a teenager. So that when I had my children, I knew about. I learned it much later. So it was like, you know, then you will not be attached, because they have their own journey. You will have to just facilitate as a parent. You know, just do your best. It's like a gardener's job. You know, give it, but what is going to happen, you don't know, because they are not yours.
True.
Yeah. So I think that to me, everybody has the same problem, Dr. Prabhakar, that we all are kind of human being. We don't change, but these are the remedies that, you know, it becomes less.
And this detachment is a process. It's a very long process. It may happen to people in 1 year. It may not happen in the lifetime, or it may happen in 20 years. It's a process.
But like you said, Anilji, that if we are on the right path,
yes,
and if we start enjoying and have that peace, then that's a very big thing. That means you are on the right path.
Yes.
When small things don't bother you as they used to before, then you are. That is evidence that these things work. Yeah.
The evidence is also there. You become aware after learning. To me, that's even if I cannot do it, at least I'm aware.
Yes.
If I'm hurt, I'm aware that it's the ego that's working. If, things, those type of things, you just become aware in then how to resolve those issues. To me, that's maybe this the half a step of one step, but that helps.
No,
Just
true,
think
true,
through it.
absolutely true. Like, when I was talking to the younger people, 15-year-old and in 10th grade, so we started with chapter 1 and 2. We are at 2 right now. So I said, look, your Krishna Bhagavan is giving you another way to think now.
Yes.
Before that it was like, hey, if something little happens, I'm so upset and all. And he's saying, no, hey, this is changing. And they love these phrases like, change is the changeless law of this universe, They all were so happy to hear that. And I could see them, their eyes lighting up, and it's like, before that, we don't even know this. Imagine if we don't even know.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that's how I felt. I was like, wow, I can think this way now. पहले तो tools भी नहीं थे सोचने के लिए.
Right.
They're
Well, you
providing.
don't have to blame others for things that
Yes.
happen.
True.
To me, that's important. I'm not blaming it happened because of you or because of the circumstance. It just happened. Let's think of it how it's going to be
Yes.
done.
And I think that Tejomananji is the one who said, when something happens to you, don't ask why it happened.
Yeah.
Tell yourself, what can I do about it?
Right.
I think that was because this why is saying you'll never know why. Because we are not Sarva Loka Maheshwara. You have to be Sarva Loka Maheshwara to know everything, why it happened.
Actually, in management courses, one thing they taught that stuck with me, the one reason Japanese are so successful is because they don't concentrate on why it happened, only on how to solve it.
Very good. Excellent. I think
That's
that
the first
Japan,
thing.
yeah. Japan, maybe it is an Eastern culture, no? So they have a lot of philosophy. All those. True.
I know in one of the books read, then if there is a fire, you first try to extinguish it instead of thinking why it
Yes.
happened. Think of that later.
Very good example. Yes, exactly.
You know?
If you start thinking why, तो सारा और भी जल जाएगा सब.
Yeah.
Keep analyzing why it happened.
Yeah. Okay, great. I think on that note, that was a very good example, Minaji. So shall we close?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hari Om, everyone.
All right.
Thank you for all your questions, comments. It's really enlightening for everyone. Okay, see, and I wanted to ask you before you go. Next week is Thanksgiving, and a lot of family and all may be coming. Should we just skip 1 week? How does everybody feel?
There might be fewer people. There might be just fewer people next week. So, and you might have to go over the whole thing again.
So just usually I don't like to cancel, but I think that because of the Thanksgiving and all that, because I know that people's family may be coming, we can skip next week and then go to the following week. Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
That
yes.
I think skipping is a good idea. Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's skip next week and then we will meet in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om.
Very well.